Good afternoon. Dylan Grant again with my second or third, depending on how you phrase it, video. The first one was awesome. It was like I was talking for 40 minutes with no camera on. And the second one, it was good points, but it was kind of rambling. So this one, I think will probably be the best one. You know, third time is the charm. So, okay, the topic is I'm doing it sound like The Walking Dead and let the dead bury their dead, and a lot of people don't really understand what that means. Also, a lot of people don't really understand what it means to be dead, and I think that a lot of people think like physically dead, like your body's not breathing and your heart's not beating, and so they think that's dead. And yes, that is physically dead, but I think a lot of people they're like The Walking Dead, and like all the zombie movies like Resident Evil and The Walking Dead, and that's what they're talking about is this time period, which is also what Yeshua, some call him Jesus, but Yeshua, was saying that this time is that they're dead. They're dead to their soul. And I really didn't understand that until, even though I started with my gifts, seeing these people and suddenly like their face changes and they're like this all rotty looking nasty. I'm like, ah, but or just like this white, like dead and decomposing, and they turn to you and smile. You're like, the fuck, am I hallucinating? Because yeah, no, I don't think I'm hallucinating. I didn't take anything, and but really, but what I'm actually seeing is their inner self, which is dead, which is not living. Their soul is not alive in there. It's just what they call organic portals, which are just like a race of humans engineered in Atlantis to be slaves that would not have souls, because a person with a soul cannot be enslaved. So they figured, well, we'll just make flesh robots. Like, they're physically breathing, they can follow orders, and honestly, they do have free will in the sense that they can they can make decisions, but usually it's like they don't have that soul, they don't have that whatever, and so they wind up being portals, organic portals for demonic energy to get in and just use, because a lot of things on other planes they would like to feed on the energies of this planet, and they would like to have some of the experiences that we have, like being for sex, certain foods, whatever. They can't necessarily always have all of those experiences, because for one thing, if you had a more advanced physiology and you tasted half the food we eat, you would spit it out because you realize it's poison. And as you awaken yourself more, you're like, oh my god, this just tastes wrong. People are like, what are you talking about? It tastes fine. You're like, no, it tastes wrong. It tastes disgusting. I can't explain it. And they're like, oh, it's just you. You're crazy. I'm going, okay, well, maybe. I mean, I might be crazy, but I listen to my body, and as a result, my body is in much better physical health than most people. So back to this whole the dead thing. What I think that they're talking about is that a lot of people have become, it's the people, humans, lowercase humans, as I call them, that you see now are not. Which lowercase meaning, like, if you capitalize a letter, a proper noun, it's a proper noun. So capital H human would be like a proper person who's literally a living being composed of the 4 physical elements and the 5th one, spirit, to become what I call the 6th element, which is like a living, breathing avatar of multiversal source consciousness, a living body that the multiverse can act through, and that can be there for our beloved planet and, for each other, and God only knows, hopefully maybe like superheroes or something for the rest of the galaxy. That'd be my goal. But unfortunately, these are like what I call lowercase humans. Like, they're not proper, because a lot of them, people have been reduced down to the point, like in the Bible they say, well, a third of the angels fell from the heavens. What they mean, I think, because as reading scriptures, I kind of just leave my mind open, and understanding comes into it, and I'm going, oh, excuse me, the allergies are horrifying because it's San Antonio in the winter and we're having like a really bad mountain cedar outbreak, so I'm surprised I'm not like coughing and stuff, but no, the thing is that I think what they mean when they say a third of the angels fell is because our body is, our body is very unique in the sense that we have the chakras within us, and each one is like an angelic or celestial energy center filled with higher energies. And these angels that are just like consciousness, like our mind, like our awareness, consciousness beings that are comprised of pure energy, and they exist at these different frequencies. And so in a sense, when we align our chakras correctly, we can actually become like mini universes for energy. And that's kind of what I think we're supposed to become. Unfortunately, and that actually does become easier with the higher DNA, which was already there. What your DNA is, it's not like all you'll ever be. It's the basic stuff. Like if you start off with $1 million, awesome. If you start off with zero, you can still make $1 million. But it's just, obviously if you start with $1 million, it's a lot easier. So it's kind of like that. Your DNA is just what you're starting with. It isn't all you'll ever be, and it isn't, like what all you'll ever be locked into. Though realistically, all of us do have a lot of higher DNA within ourselves, which, again, in Atlantis, it was capped off. It was sealed. The seals will be broken. Yeah, that's what they're talking about. The seals of your DNA, the seals of the spiritual energies. And I think when they talk about the third of the angels, well, the lowest 3 chakras that you have would be your red one, your sacral. Nope, wait, red is root. Orange is sacral, and yellow is the solar. And so in a sense, those angels, those angelic divine energies, fell from the higher, awareness into just being about themselves. They're mostly very self-oriented. Your red, root chakra, is about the physical world, physical survival, and which can also translate into your physical kingdom, food, shelter, are you warm at night, your bed, your comfort, do you eat foods that you like, whatever, that kind of stuff. And then your sacral, which is your primal creativity, and also sexuality, can also really be very perverted into being like sexually obsessed, or taking maybe sexual stalking steps, or like, raping people, because all you're wanting is that sexual energy to be released. And so it can be very imbalanced. Now in a healthy scenario, it creates beautiful things. However, unfortunately, if it is not healthy scenario, then it's like anything that's not kept healthy. It dies and it becomes a problem. Like when you put healthy, fresh food in the back of your fridge and you leave it for, I don't know, a couple months or something, it might be growing shit. Why? Because it passed the point of being healthy. It passed the point of being refreshed. I guess the dish should be refreshed by new food. But, and it's like it's unhealthy. What was in there stagnated and became unhealthy and started, growing in not positive ways. I'm going to say a lot. So it's kind of like that. Then you get to the solar chakra, which is your self-definition and who you want to be in the world. This would be the part of yourself that's responsible for your career, who you want to be married to, what you want to stand for. Probably your body image, I'm assuming, you as a person. So, which all of those are absolutely crucial for you being the best that you can be. However, that shouldn't be where you stop. Where you stop shouldn't just be, your physical self, your sexual nature, and, your career or your whatever, how you define yourself. It should be kind of more than that. So, I took notes so I wouldn't be rambling, So the thing about this dead is I think that a lot of, it's like, a third of that kind of fell from the higher awareness. And that's why a lot of people live in there. Sometimes I've actually looked at people, with this eye, and I've seen it's like this mouth, and I'm like, hell no. And even in paintings, I'll see this mouth down here, like this other head, and I'm going, what the fuck is that? But I realize what I'm seeing is that's what's controlling them. They're just like a robot being controlled by this lower chakra energy, and it's actually very distorted energy. You know what I'm saying? It's like very much like the demiurge and the these energies that think that they're God or think that they're alive, and they're really horrifying creatures. I mean, Hitler actually thought he was doing good things. So did all of those Nazi scientists. There are people today that carry on the same experiments, and they think, oh no, it's for the good of, okay. And I think that if you're really in touch with your soul, with your full soul in the heavens, which are within us and around us, all, as above, so below, everywhere, you wouldn't be able to do horrifying things. And I can say that as I've kind of awakened, like, well, as you awaken, you start thinking, oh my God, this world, these people are so stupid. I can get away with some serious criminal shit. I can do like all kinds of stuff to them. It'd be so fucking easy. But there's some reason that I don't. Maybe because I realize, and hopefully all of you realize, that you're like, wait a minute. It's almost like it's a temptation, because if you are of a higher soul, and I am one, then you come down here and it's like, you see how fucking evil it is, and it's really tempting. Certainly in your younger years, I spent 8th grade year, I was establishing my morals, so I shoplifted every day while I was trying to figure out what I wanted because I thought, well, life isn't fair, so whatever. Yeah, well, I was 8th grade and it's kind of over now. In fact, it was over by 9th grade. But so the point is that we really need to, as people, kind of decide, what do we actually want? I know a lot of people, though, and this is what I'm saying, is that if you don't have that higher energy, you're really not going to stop, because you don't see a consequence of right and wrong. You may be, these organic portals, they will actually fear imprisonment, but at the same time, they have no problem imprisoning someone else. See, they're afraid of consequence. They're basically beasts. These are the beasts of Revelation, the mark of the beast. And people are like, no, animals are. I'm like, I'm not talking animals. I'm talking beasts, domesticated beasts of burden to the system that all they fucking know is they work like an ox or a pig or whatever the fuck works, and they get their food that day. That is all they fucking know. That is what they've been trained to do. That's what they've been bred to do, and that's what they, over generations, has become how they live. They are just beasts. They're just slaves of the matrix, slaves of the society that's built on oppression and enslavement and subjugation. And there's really nothing that myself or any of the other people that ascended here can fucking do about that, because we just can't. There are higher frequency timelines. I'm realizing now that I lived on one. I was like going back and forth, and I didn't even know that I was going back and forth between the different timelines. But there's higher frequency timelines that are nothing. They're not nearly as fucked up as this one. And there are some that are actually more fucked up than this one. But the thing is that you have to understand, these people are not going to. They will not acknowledge what they've done. They won't acknowledge the truth, because all they know is, well, that's what the government says. That's what mass media says. Well, bitch, open your fucking eyes. For real. Open your fucking eyes. Like, I've gotten some flack over this little shooting thing in Florida, and I'm going, the fuck? Like, those are the same crisis actors. Really? This is really not complicated, and it's tripping me the fuck out that, because I've seen all this shit for years, but I've seen, like, I'm like, well, it looks suspicious. No, there's just something. But this one, I think, is like a final test or something, that people are either going to say, hey, we're acknowledging that some weird shit is going on, or people go, nope, we don't see nothing. Nope, we don't see it. And you're like, how do you not see it? And they're like, you're crazy. They're going to lock you up. And I'm like, oh my God, no. Okay, I don't know what is going on with this, but like, why people don't see this. And maybe I am crazy. But I don't actually believe that. But no, I think that there's some nefarious shit. And luckily, for those of us who are ascending, we're not going to be here that much longer. We're going to be shifting into the higher frequency. Most likely, with a lot of us, that does mean our body here will die. We won't feel it. We won't experience death, as it says in the book, in the Bible, and other scriptures and other things, is that you don't experience death like that. The Aztecs, or no, not the Aztecs, the Mayans, they shifted completely out of this physical plane into a higher frequency of reality. Is that solid? No. Solidity is an illusion based upon, molecular, movement and vibration. That, it's like, and I can sort of see it, like not right. I mean, I can like see it through here. It's like you look and you sort of see these things moving. And it's like the force stops at a certain point, kind of like an explosion that stops, and then it starts half-lifing out, and that's what creates the solid illusion. That's the point where it stops half-lifing, or it starts half-lifing and things. And we've learned to manipulate these energy fields that we have now perceived as solid matter into different shapes, and we can do all kinds of amazing things. So this is not the only reality, thank God, and so hopefully soon we're going to be shifting out of here. This is a time, though, when we're deciding, do we want to live in the bullshit and the lies and the whatever, or do we not? I know that even without my abilities, I have a really high IQ because I grew up in San Francisco and I grew up around doctors and lawyers and people with really advanced degrees. Like they would tell my mom, your child's one of the smartest in the class, but he just doesn't apply himself. I mean, they would tell me, oh no, you're gonna get like the big career. Guess what? Standardized tests are fucking me up because they're created for lower-minded people that just know how. Oh yeah, we'll do that. I'd be like, wait, no, it could be either A or B. I need more information on this question. What the fuck? This makes no sense. This is overly simplified. Because literally, I can't see the world that simple. I really can't. The way that they put these things on the test, I cannot fucking see the world that simply. I'm like, there's way more stuff that I see happening all around me all the fucking time for me to not think there has to be more information. And it's really difficult. So, but unfortunately, a lot of people, they know how to just, it's like this meme that I saw actually. Probably talking fast. It's only been 16 minutes. Where it said this kid was like pouring something out, and his mom or dad goes, "Well, what are you doing? What are you doing pouring that out?" No, I'm not doing that. I'm watching you right now. No, you're not. Like that's how they are, for real. But you know what? And I've watched Republicans and I've watched different politicians, and it's like you just keep saying, well, what about this? And they just keep giving you this complete line of shit, and people are going, oh, okay, well it is that way because you say it. Okay, ooh, those are the craziest motherfuckers. Like they're fucking crazy as shit because they're like pigs. They'll eat you and shit, and like a pig can eat a human body, an uncooked human body, in 8 minutes. These people would eat you and they go, we didn't do anything. What are you talking about? That's what I'm saying. They really scare me, and the fact that I can actually see into their and it. Ooh, I do know what a scary world we live in, but regardless, knowing that I live in a scary world and that these are just little beasties of the Matrix, like I can't help but have compassion for them. Like I can't. I'm like I feel sorry for them. I feel love for them, but I also understand that they're fucking dangerous and scary. And I'm not to turn my back on them for 5 seconds because they can justify all kinds of shit, believe me. I mean, I lived in a homeless shelter, several homeless shelters that I've gone through in my struggle with my PTSD from military and from, just this breakdown that I had after some traumatic stuff happened in the Army. And let me tell you, these people, they look at you like you're a number. They're getting all this money off of you, and it's like, you're just a number. They will treat you like shit. They were filthy places, especially some of the ones here in San Antonio. The best one out of all of them was Haven for Hope because they did actually have some really good programs and everything. But the problem was their case management and administrative staff are awesome. Their lower level staff, and they're not that low because they get paid $17 an hour, but it's like they don't have education. They don't have whatever. Boy, they just love to pull out their little power trips. And I'm just like, dude, you're making like $50 to $100 a day for me to be here and you're going to treat me like shit? Damn, that's not even smart business. But they don't care because they're in that place. But it's only the lower level staff, and not all of them, I can say that. Which is good. But it's like, no, unfortunately, you have these people that they really like treating people badly. They think that being successful is being able to treat people badly and not be accountable. And I'm going, but why would you want to? It's like that's saying, well, there's many ways to skin a cat. Whoa, why would you want to skin a cat? Right? Sorry, I'm vegan, man. I wouldn't even eat it. Okay. So, what Yeshua had said in the Bible, which some people think is whatever he said, leave the dead to bury their dead, which means you're either awake or asleep. You're either going to be part of a higher frequency awareness in our shift to, I was thinking if I could move the camera, but it's too much work. You're either going to be part of our higher conscious world and live in joy and celebration, and as we shift the hell out of here, or you're going to live like a little ignorant slave here in 3D, and only in low vibrational 3D, and have machine parts put into your body, and have that become a remote controlled slave, because that is what the direction that we're going. It's going to be called the machine kingdom, and it will literally be hell on earth. I've already lived through it. I was born and died in an incarnation in that future timeline, because that's kind of how it works. Timelines aren't lineal. Like you can, I could die here and then wake up in, like, have an incarnation in 1912, because and it's 2018 now. It's because that's just how it works. That you don't have to follow the linear time that physical time is actually following. So this is when you decide, are you going to be awake or asleep? Are you going to be aware, and are you going to follow, your heart and your mind, and your mind working together, your soul, as I said, which I kind of patented that I go by like Psion, because it means, mind spirit, because, you have to get your mind and spirit kind of honed together to see through the bullshit. So, okay, the decision is about reading my notes, living in a lie, or risking everything to tell the truth because you will become unpopular. That's true, believe me. You start telling people, no, I think that there's some weird stuff going on with this. Oh boy, they want to, you're crazy, you need to get, oh boy. You know what I mean? And honestly, I don't give a fuck if I lose all these friends, because they're not really my friends if they can't. First of all, if they fucking believe that this 3D and the stuff that they put on TV is real, then we're not going to have anything in common, because it's like, I've been homeless. I've been struggling with different systems. I've lived too real of a life to talk to the people that have never experienced hardship. They've never gone hungry. They've never been in a position where someone's had power over them and abused it. If that, you know what I'm saying? And that, I can't have anything in common with those people, because it would be like, like saying, act like, oh no, that never happened. No. Because it's like, I did go through what I went through, and it made me appreciate the good things more. So, okay. So the point is that with these people, share with them share with them what information you think is relevant. And it's like Yeshua said, you know what? If they reject you and they reject the truth, they reject what you're sharing, be aggressive to you, walk away and take not the dust on your sandals. Shake that off as a testament against them and move on. Because you know what? You've given your best and they rejected. That's fine. You can't get attached to things, because it's not. You can't get attached to the outcome of, saving them. They don't want to be saved. Like, they don't. That's all. They don't want to be saved. They don't want to be wrong, and they want to believe what they want to believe, and that's their choice. Just so you know, free will is totally an illusion. There is no free will. The idea that, there is and there isn't. There is free will, but there isn't the way that we think that there is. Free will basically means you can do whatever. A lot of people think it means you can do whatever you want. Yes, it does, but it also means, like, we're currently in a karmic world, so you can do things that have horrible effects and not feel the effects right away. In fact, you might die, might be at the end of your life, we don't know. Might be in the next life. But the thing is that whatever you do, you're going to have effects of. Everything you do, you have, as a soul, you are responsible for the effects that you cause. And it's usually based on your intentions. Rather than so much, especially with Dharma, which is more you get your consequences instantly, it's more based on your intentions than your, because if you honestly if you serve somebody some cookies, and they're peanut butter cookies, and they don't tell you that they're allergic to peanut butter, and they don't, tell you, and then they eat them, and they, get sick, is it your fault? No. Because they didn't tell you, they ate it, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Things that you intentionally do. And maybe if it's just something in your head that says, wait, don't do this, listen to that, because that could be your higher parts of your soul trying to figure things out. So the next one is the slavery and subjugations of the minds and souls of, yes, the lowercase humans, the improper humans, and what they are. This whole thing is about creating, this whole agenda is about basically creating a bunch of, oh, yes, sir. Oh, no, sir. Slave. Oh, yes, sir. Oh, whatever you say, sir. Oh, whatever you say. Some shit happened right in front of me. Nope, it's not there because you say it's not. That's never going to fucking be me, okay? I'm sorry. That's never going to fucking be me. These bitches are led to the slaughter. I have seen, I lived in for a while in South Dakota. Right now I live in Texas. I have seen cattle pens, and I have seen livestock, and they're kept in pens, and when they're marched to their death, they go right along. You know what I'm saying? And if you resist, they electrocute you. You know what I'm saying? They're sold, they're eaten. I actually also worked in meat packing when I was out there. I was living in South Dakota, but then I was working across the river in Iowa. It was really or in Nebraska. It was really complicated, but I had to go through Iowa to get there. This is where all 3 states came together. It was really strange. But the thing is, and honestly, it was kind of cleaner than most people's kitchens in that plant, to be honest. But yeah, no, it's, you know what I mean. It's just it's like when you see this system that's been created purely to feed on this meat, you're like, huh. On an engineering level, it's impressive, but it's like, you know, I don't know. But the fact is that none of it could work if these animals weren't plod, 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 you know, obedient to the system. And you know what? This world is going to go on for another age after this one. It just is. And the machine kingdom is going to come to pass in one frequency of reality. That's not the only one, though. There's not only one, there's multiple frequencies. However, we are going to be taken out of. Those of us who are awake and are like, no, the source understands that we're outnumbered, and these people are completely without morals. So they, you know what I mean? So we actually are not going to be forced to live under the subjugation because we choose not to. So, which is good. But we actually are in the middle of World War III. People don't realize that. This is World War III. Maybe not the physical war, but this is the war. Because this war is over your mind and soul. Do you believe what's being told to you when the truth is standing right in front of you? Or I mean, like, there's some people, I've met them that's like, they're just completely subservient and obedient to whatever. And I'm going, like, they, you know what I mean? They can just, you go in the room. Why is there an elephant? There's no elephant. Yeah, it's right there. No, you're hallucinating. You hang your coat on hang that coat on the tusk. What's it? Oh, that's our coat rack. Pull out a Snickers bar. Give that bitch a Snickers because they're hungry. Guess what? Thing eats it. Why is your coat rack eating a cigarette? You're crazy. We're gonna lock you up. I'm like, oh my god, because it's like they really do live in denial. People will, if they're mentally programmed to think that there's no elephant, they will think that there's no elephant, and they'll. I can say, as a person that goes into people's minds, I can go in there and go, huh, doesn't make sense. I've gone into some people's minds, and all they see around them, like, they don't see the trees. All they fucking see are like signs, like KFC and Taco Bell and gas stations. That's all they fucking see. They see that, and they see other cars. And I'm like, they actually don't see the trees. Some people don't see trees. They don't see certain colors. They don't. Certain things will pop out like bright. Certain things will pop out that interest them, and nothing else. And I'm like, I fucking see everything. I see all this shit. Like, I can see the different color variation in different stones and different trees. Like, I can see all kinds of things, and I guess not everyone can. So, yeah, this is the Third World War, and it's a war for your soul and your heart. It's like in Zoroastrianism, we're in a battle for our souls and our minds to either stay slaves of a subjugating system, or to continue to raise our consciousness and shift the fuck out. Don't try to fight the system. That's some bullshit. That's all. That's just a psyop to try to see if because they feed off of the conflict of some people being willing slaves, and that's, no, we can save them. You can't fucking save them because they do not want it. They will fucking, you know what I'm saying? It's like they will just turn on you like rabid dogs. That's what they do. That's what they've been trained to do and programmed to do, and there's nothing you can do to change it. The ones that want to wake up, you'll know, and you'll be like, oh, okay, and you'll give them as much information as they can handle, and then you got to let it go, because the point is, it's not, you can't be stuck with what's coming, and I've already lived through it. Trust me, you don't want to be here. You don't. I saw all of this to begin with. All of these shows, these television shows, like, Full House and Will and Grace, I saw them all fucking continuing, and then later they'll remake the same show with the same plot, but other people will be playing them. And it's like multiple generations. Like, we're talking, like, when I was like, there was like 6 fucking times that they did Will and Grace over some of the other shows. And I'm like, what the fuck? I remember that. I was like, no, that's crazy. I must be hallucinating. No, it's because when I died in that reality, my consciousness and, whatever shifted into this body. This was 11 years ago. And so I saw that coming a long time ago. I saw them doing these things like Microsoft is doing now, where they, you can't store documents anymore. You buy Word or, Office or whatever. You can't store documents on your computer anymore. there is hacks to get around it by putting them on a flash drive, but it's like, no, you have to put them in their cloud, and then you have to pay a subscription to access your own documents. That's what I've seen that, but times 1,000. Like where you'll literally have to pay every time just to even do little things. And once they start getting the tech into your body, you'll have to keep paying and keep being subservient to continue to like do your basic life daily functions. It literally will be hell on earth. And that's because like systems are just living things. Technology is not evil. No. It's simply a thing. It's like science or magic or anything else. You know what I mean? It's simply exists. It's a formula. It's a technique. And it can be used for good or evil. It can be used, if you build technology or architecture or whatever else, and you build it to be celebrating life and to be, making things better for people and to be, to help people's lives, if that's your intention that you put into it, and that's what it becomes. But if you just are literally creating things to enslave people and whatever, which they are, then that's what it is. It becomes enslavement. It's not about, it's about intention and what you intend it to be. So luckily this, this is not our only possible future. There is another one that's more about light and awareness, and we'll have far better technology because it won't be created with enslavement as the agenda. They won't make it actually at all. So it'll be just like kind of like the Lemurian and maybe the better part of Atlantis before it became twisted, but yeah. So the many kingdoms that we had before the war with Atlantis and Lemuria, which I'm starting to remember, woo, good times. But no, this shit is just, it's no. I know I've given you a lot of information, probably a ridiculous amount, maybe more than you want. You might not have even gotten to this point because you might have stopped like 15 minutes like, oh, this crazy person. But hopefully you've got enough information to get you going. I'm only sharing the information that comes to me. I'm not the end all be all answer person that you can go to. Really, my function at this point, what I'm doing in the time that I have left before the shift, is just sharing information that if you actually want to find it, you can possibly use this information to find the truth and the path that you're supposed to walk. If not, then no, and I don't have to worry about it because I know I know who I am and I know where I'm going, and that's really all there is to it. So. But I do, and as you kind of raise in consciousness, the one thing that it does become, you really do love everyone. Like you want it, and by love I mean you see them, not what you want them to be, but you actually see them. You see the potential for good and bad, and you're like, oh, I want the best for them. I want to see people happy, but at the same time, I know I can't go down there and try to help that bitch because they'll just bite my hand off. You know what I'm saying? They'll just lash out at me, and I'm not about to deal with that. So. But again, you do want to see people at their best and happy and joyful. But you also understand that they don't want it for themselves, or they want to be told what they want to hear instead of acknowledging the fact. And as for any of the forces trying to retrograde this, we'll be long gone. We're not going to be that much resistance to you because we understand that these slaves are willing slaves. So. Nothing we can do about that. So yeah, we understand that. But we're not going to share their fate. And really, believe me, since we're already there in the higher reality, we would, we're not going to be drugged back here ever. And you're going to need us to be where we are when your plans actually backfire on you. So keep that in mind. We might help you. It depends. We really have to depend on what it affects our energies, because if we stop the consequences that you have coming, we might be taking them on ourselves, and we're not going to do that. So like with these lowercase humans, improper humans, lowercase, they're just who they are. So you have to reach 34 minutes, and I'm 34 this year. So just hopefully be the best that you can be and be awake, because there is definitely different things coming now. I can feel it. It's coming. There's these new information kind of coming into us, new downloads, so to speak, that are waking us up to our true purpose. And it's not going to be here. It's not going to be living as slaves alongside the other slaves, because maybe it'll make them easier. Joining them in hell is not going to fucking save them. Joining them in hell is not going to stop the fact that they are in hell. It is not going to change the fact that they are in hell, and it's not going to get them out of hell. That they chose, that they stay in, because we all have this. We all could wake up to this awareness and stuff. God doesn't abandon any of us. God is within us, but unfortunately, God is within our hearts and minds. But unfortunately, some people just listen to the pre-programmed egoic shit rather than ever questioning it. So, and unfortunately, that'll be their choice. So, a lot of information, and blessed be. I love all of you. I'm going to go load this one and the other video at the library today. So I hope that you're all having a wonderful day, and just go in love and peace, and just don't live in fear, but live in awareness. That's kind of how you get through this, is that you don't live in fear, because you realize they can't actually affect you. They could kill you, but they really can't affect you, because if you truly deep inside don't consent to them affecting you. But hold on, there we go, itch. So just go in peace and love and joy, and continue to prepare yourselves, because this is the time when you decide: are you going to stay in the 3D world as it becomes a truly enslaved and subjugated place, really enslaved and subjugated, or are you going to realize that this is just one of many realities, one of many holographic illusions, and that there's many more out there that you could be, and that you could be experiencing, and that could be you could just shift into, instead of this one, where these low vibrational people simply can't exist at, because they're too malicious to actually exist there. Because there are rules, there are walls, dimensional walls that they can't cross. So, love you, be blessed, and 37 minutes, wow. Love you, be blessed, and go in awareness, and just follow the light within.